Welcome, golf fans, pursuers of knowledge and the almighty dollar. This is your golf guru bringing you the Genesis Invitational, putting together a DFS preview and pick show for you guys. Even though I'm going on vacation, I'm recording this after the third round at the Waste Management. So it's not going to be as usual kind of show. I just wanted to at least get you guys some information. I didn't want to leave you hanging. And so with that said, I'm going to do a preview and then give you my top 20 picks and also give you one and done. We'll go through some of the analysis that I've done. Not as deep as I usually do. I will preference that, but enough to get you guys some ideas of who you might want to play. Okay, with that said, of course, we're heading back over to the West Coast, and we're going to Pacific Palisades, California. The course is the Riviera Country Club, the Riv, and this tournament has been held here for a long time. Had many names like the Nissan Open beforehand, but since 1973, of course, Tiger started playing this tournament, which kind of made it the tournament that you needed to play. People will call it Tiger's Tournament. Of course, I'm not talking about the Hero. And then architects actually were like some older guys, which you probably don't care. But I think the most recent thing, if you do care about the architect, would be a Tom Fazio redesigns quite a few times. All right, it is a par 71. It's a little over 7,300 yards. The fairways are Kikuyu, and the rough is 2-inch Kikuyu, and the greens are Poana. The greens here are probably the number one defense of this golf course. I mean, overall, if you want to think about from a defense perspective, they are large, 7,500 square feet, very slopey, crazy slopes, pretty close to what you see at Augusta. They're going to be fast. Of course, also you've got trees, you've got pretty narrow fairways. A lot of the golfers will tell you that this is the truest test of tournament golf that they play. Of course, they are not too far from the ocean. They're not right on the ocean, but they're not too far at all, right by Santa Monica. So wind can definitely be a factor. It has shown up, I think, last year. It was moderate winds all days, and then I think the last day was windy AF, which is as fuck. And, of course, the player field is an invitational, so it's a little smaller than usual. You have 120 players, and as far as I know, it is still top 65 in ties. Historical cut line falls somewhere between +1 to +3. So hence this kind of shows you that it's, probably one of the toughest events they play that is not a major. So probably the closest thing to a major. Of course, last year you had Max Homa pull it out in the playoff with Tony Finau at 12 under when he had that amazing chip under the tree, where I think everybody, even included me, thought he was out of it. The year before that, you had Adam Scott, who was playing really good golf at the time, and shot 11 under. And then, amazing enough, 2019, you had JB Holmes. So just from those guys right there, you could probably glean quite a bit of just amazing ball strikers, especially on the JB Holmes side. You would never guess JB Holmes from what he does with a putter would actually win this thing. But Adam Scott, of course, at the time, could get hot with his putter, still streaky. And then Max Homa, same thing. When you put him on POA, typically it's a positive thing. Number of sand bunkers, 58. There is no water hazards on this course. And from a stimp meter reading, it shows up as fast, which typically means somewhere between 12, 12 and a half. And then, past notes that I just put in here is, I kind of already discussed. I mean, the short of it is we're looking for the best ball strikers who are amazing around the greens and putting. And, of course, kind of a quinky dink is on number 6, par 3. You got that Hogan sand bunker right in the middle. Okay, so as I mentioned, it's not going to be the kind of typical flow, but I want to give you kind of the key things that I think you need. If you look at the last 2 years, look at like the top 5, 5 rankings of the players that finished. What did they do very well here? It was all about approach and putting. Now you can say, of course, it's hard to understand who's going to putt well or not, but we typically know and we can find out who putts well on POA, who's a good putter overall. So that's going to give us the lean. Of course, around the green also is something that we want to look at. The last thing that I think is the most important or least important is off the tee. Now you can see, it's kind of a range. You've got, Matt Kuchar, who, did not gain off the tee. And again, if you don't understand how stroke gain is off the tee, it's not just distance, it's also hitting fairways. You can also hear Sung Kang, who, can be a decent ball striker at times, just usually pretty bad with the putter. So that's pretty interesting. But long story short, we're looking for guys. I mean, really, if you think about it, Patrick Reed would be the prototypical player. I actually really like Cam Smith, who you see came in fourth here last year. But we'll get into the guys a little more. Of course, Sam Burns, a great ball striker. Tony Finau, great ball striker. Actually did get hot with the putter. Matthew Fitzpatrick fits the mold I was just mentioning. Typically pretty accurate, really good with the irons, and amazing around the greens. But then you get to a Victor Hovland, who is typically not good around the greens, who doesn't give the putter, but can make it up off the tee. So there's different ways you can do it here. But in short, the guys that I'll be looking at and leaning on, approach around the green, putting, and then last will be off the tee. All right, so if we just look at recent form, I did create a model for you guys, and I'll let you know how it's kind of weighted. So I'm focusing on, typically I show you what's the stroke gain kind of top things you want to do. Instead of just going to see it in a model perspective, the one that I'm weighting the heaviest is approach. Next would be putting around the green, and then off the tee would be the least. There's these two proximities that show up. Proximity 150 to 175. Believe it was about 29% of the time. It's really high that shows up. Then this 175 to 200 would be next. It was around 20%. Then you got some really long par fours. I believe there was 6 of these, 450 to 500. You've got a couple of these long par fives. It's only 3 par fives. I believe 10 par fours. What? I take it back. 11 par fours and 4 par threes. But anyways, you got some longer par threes. You do have the par fives that you do, try to make hay on, as always. And then, of course, I put ball striking. I threw it in here at 10%. Usually I have that up here, but it's right here. You got to scramble a bit. You are going to, if you get a little wayward, there's going to be trees. There's kind of these, I would say kind of like caverns, if you want to say, or kind of ditches that you might have to get out of. And then, of course, I said the greens are the trickiest, and this is where you can get quite a few 3 putts. I think that, like, the most missed putts from 10 feet or whatever is on this course, if I remember correctly. All right, the next thing you'd want to know is who has the best history at the Riv. Funny enough, if you look at the past 12 rounds, oh yeah, and just stated also for recent form, I was looking for the past 12 rounds, no filters turned on, and you're also going to notice I don't have salary yet, but I do have the field, so that's why I did the show for you guys. But the guys that I picked, I have a kind of a feeling where they'll probably end up in price range, so it's not 20 guys that are all very expensive. So, anyways, the history at the Riv, the number one comes up DJ under my model. That is Wade, Taylor Gooch, great ball striker, Finau, Rahm, Schauffele. Funny enough, James Hahn, that's kind of interesting, right? He had that run at the Waste Management last year. I think he missed a cut this year. Max Homa, Cantlay, Hovland, Smith, Leishman, JT, Bubba, Adam Scott, and Fitzpatrick. Some of these guys you can see only have 8 or 4 rounds, but most of them have 12. The other thing that would interest me is who's the top pull-up putters. Again, this might help when you're thinking about, again, leaning maybe towards the bottom, like a Matt Kuchar has putted very well over the past 24 rounds. So again, whenever I look at putting, I take a larger sample. You got Rahm, McNeely, Clark, who I'm interested in, Troy Merritt, Wallace. You can see the names down here. Kevin Na, funny enough, he's a good putter, good around the green, but this is not a Kevin Na course for me. You got Homa down here, funny enough, Molinari, who made the cuts, making a little bit of noise at Waste Management. And then the last one I did was top ball strikers for you guys. Again, this is using my model over the last 12 rounds. So the last 3 tournaments these guys played right now, up there is Will Z, Luke List. Funny enough, Ryan Palmer, even though he struggled heavily at Pebble Beach. Victor, Russ, Knox, Mats, Merritt again shows up. Smith, Connor, Scheffler, you can see the guys. Hoagie has been hitting the irons and again, playing pretty well at the Waste Management. All right, I'm also going to give you guys my one and done, so I'll do that after I do the picks. But let's go jump over to Fantasy National. Again, this is going to be quicker, and we're going to run through some of these guys that I'm interested in for you. Okay, so we are over in Fantasy National. As always, you're going to notice here it's just going to say the field, so I have no pricing for anything. But again, hopefully the way I kind of pick these guys, that it should work out where you can play most of them in a 6-man team. I've turned on no filters. I am going to keep looking at recent form, and that's the last 12 rounds. And what I've got here is a mini model focused on ball striking, approach around the green, that heavy proximity from 150 to 175, putting. We got, I'm still going to keep birdies. I already went through, and most of these guys do gain on POA. So I did that first, and then I turned on birdies for you. And then, of course, you got recent results and tournament history here. All right. So this is going to be, usually it's organized by the cost, but since we don't have that, I'm doing it by what my model rank is pulling up. And if I turn off this, I can at least show you. Funny enough, Russ Henley comes up number one in this model ranking over the past 12 rounds. The guy that I'm, looking to, and probably my favorite, and probably who I'll use in one and done, is Cam Smith. Even though, he missed the cut to Sony, I think he was just a bit burned out. If I remember correctly, I think he went right from the Century, won that, and then went to the Sony, and I think he struggled, I believe, on his opening day. But everything that I know that Cam does is what I like here. You can see he's had a pretty good history here, a T6, a fourth. He has one missed cut, a 49th and 28th. But yeah, you can see everything is very highly green, and you just need a super amazing short game. I mean, again, back to Patrick Reed, whenever you think around the green and putting, but actually his around the green and putting has not been to where it should be. And if I actually just, while we're talking about Reed, I'll pull him up. You can kind of see ball striking, he's been struggling, approach. Everything's been kind of waxed. And you can see he has not done well at this course, which, you think he would do all right. And you can kind of see, of course, the form is just not there right now. Now, will it come back? I'm sure it will. All right, so Cam Smith, let's just go take a quick look at him. Typically hits at 300 yards off the tee. Driving accuracy is about 60%. That is the one area that, can get a little wayward at times. You see on POA over the last 12 months, he's gained, we'll just call it almost a half a stroke. And of course, as I mentioned, the things he does very well is putting around the green and approach. And off the tee, I mean, he could hit it over 300, 320. So it's not that he doesn't have length, just sometimes the accuracy thing. I just click on where he's done his best work. Of course, he just won the Tournament of Champions. Won the Sony before that. So both his wins, funny enough, over in Hawaii. And then what I'm kind of looking for, you can see the Genesis. The Genesis again. Valero, I think, is a tough track. The Farmers. There's that Masters 10th. This WGC Mexico, which I think that's the one at Concession. Yeah. The one at Chapultepec. So let me see this real quick. WGC Mexico. So these ones here, actually, this course rates out pretty well as a comparable course. This Club Day Golf Chapultepec. It's about the same yardage. It's POA. It's a par 71. It's a tough track. So that's good too. That's, and like I said, I didn't really go over the comparable courses, but I mean, of course, you could look at Torrey Pines South. I think Quail Hollow, you could look at where they play Wells Fargo. And then I just mentioned the WGC Mexico, but it's a little, a couple years ago. But anyways, I am on Cameron Smith. I like him, so he's one of my picks. He's going to cost, I'm guessing, somewhere, upper nines, low tens. The next one I really like is Luke List. He been playing great golf. Of course, the only area is the putter, but the putter has, been a little better. You can see what his distance, accuracy. You see POA as his best putting surface, but still not gaining against the field. But you can see here over his last, 4 events. Of course, when he won the Farmers, that was on POA. Gained almost 4 strokes on the field. So, that's a bit of it. But, just you can see a 22nd, a 10th, 11th. And then if we also look at where he's done something like the Honda, tough track, Sanderson Farms, tough track. Wells Fargo recently. This PGA, yeah, Bethpage Black also is a good comparable. I mean, that's a little while ago, but it's POA, it's a par 70. Plays again around, you can see here it says over 7,400, so maybe they had different tees. But on average, 7,300 yards. So that's, par 70 at 7,400 yards. That's all the golf you want. So again, those are 2 of mine. I would guess Luke List will come somewhere upper 7s. I mean, because it's a strong field, maybe low 8s, but I would guess somewhere around there. Hideki wouldn't be a bad play, but you can see kind of had a mixed bag here, either really well or cut. I think the putter is what makes me nervous. He's got a really good short game, but his putter, has been better. What did he do? Let's see here. I want to take a look. So so he lost 2.5 strokes on Poa at Torrey recently. Um, the Sony is actually Bermuda. So kind of funny enough. But I mean, I'm not saying he can't play him. I think he would do fine. But I'm actually going to take a shot on Scotty. Of course, if you watch today's golf, he shot what, 8 under, 9 under. So that's good to see. He was kind of the guy. Ultimately, I was picking that would win this thing. Even though I did not use him in one and done. Funny enough, I used Hideki and one and done for the Waste Management, which I think he's tied for 7th. So we'll see how that all works out. Anyways, back to Scotty Scheffler. You can see from a ball striking perspective, putter makes me a little nervous, but you can see he's handled it already. T20, T30. Let's go click on Scotty. See, Poa technically is his worst surface, which that's a little interesting. You can see he lost a little bit at the Farmers. So let's see, Bermuda. Trying to just take a look to see if he's ever had a good showing on Poa. Lost a stroke at the Genesis. So that's probably the only thing that would make me nervous about Scotty, but I like him for this track. Let's take a look. Just while we're at it, Wells Fargo. He's never played Wells Fargo. That's interesting. WGC Mexico. So this is the one we'd want to look at. He had a 26, and he gained 2 strokes there. That was Poa. I think I already saw that. It was Harding Park. Okay. So I like Scotty. Of course, you can play Rahm. You can see his putter's been a little cool, comparative. Still kind of going that way. But I mean, it's Rahm. I'm guessing he'll be, again, the most expensive. Hence why I'm kind of, I'm going to go to Cam, Scotty. Probably my top guys are a little cheaper. Next guy I'm landing on actually is Patrick Cantlay. And that's probably would be the most expensive guy I have listed here. But I know that, grew up not too far from this area. You can see he's had a really good history here from a T4, T15. Of course, a couple wins at the FedEx Cup. Good showings. He's, again, I think, second at the Waste Management right now. Yeah, I like everything. So that was kind of my number one guy. It would be Cantlay. You can see he does gain on Poa slightly. What did he do at the Farmers? Oh, he didn't. How did he played? He didn't play at the Farmers. Huh. That's interesting. Well, Pebble Beach, he gained 2 strokes on Poa. Let's see here if I see anything that sticks out. He also had the win right at Wells Fargo with that. We'll call it the de facto win because of Rahm having to get out. There it is, Memorial. I'm sorry, I said Wells Fargo. It was actually Memorial. I was thinking. Does well there. Just save Cantlay for your one and done at Memorial. Valspar, tough track. There's the PGA at Bethpage Black. What did he do again there? Where was he? 3rd. There's Genesis. Again, just scrolling through to see Masters, which is kind of crazy. And then he missed a cut last year at the Masters. That was pretty shocking. Genesis to Genesis. So yeah, I like Patrick Cantlay. I'm gonna pick him over, the Rahms and the JTs. Of course, they got Rory McIlroy that's coming back. We got Collins. We haven't seen Colin. We haven't seen Rory yet. Rory has a pretty good track record here, but I just haven't seen him. He's been doing okay across the pond, so there's no reason you couldn't play him. He's not gonna be mine. And like I said, I try to make it where I knew that I wasn't picking, the guys that are all in the 10, 9,000 range. Joaquin Niemann, had a good show at the Farmers, a couple of miscuts before that, good show at Mayakoba. It's kind of a mixed bag here, but I just like Joaquin's game for here. I like everything until he's got a putt. But he can get hot with a putter. You see, Poa is his worst surface. But he did gain at the Farmers, so that's good. His only win, that's bent, I believe. Yeah, Old White. What is, hold on, let me go back to that. So it's a little shorter track. I was just curious. off the top of my head what the yardage. I knew it was a par 70. I just didn't know what the yardage. Um, so there's the Farmers. That was recently, so I like that. CJ Cup, the Memorial, Tough Track, Valero. I just like his ball striking capabilities. So I like Joaquin. This is not a knock course. I don't think Zane Hood, even though he's got a good short game, yeah, he's just not a good fit for him. Like I said, Rory, you can see he's had a pretty good. I mean, he missed a cut last year, but this is a course that fit him. Good ball striker. Let's see, pan down. I was curious as Sun JM. I was shocked that he missed a cut here twice, but his 150 to 175 has been off his irons. Cam Davis, who I picked at Waste Management, I was kind of shocked to see him not make the cut. But I think he would, he wouldn't be a bad play here. I didn't pick him, but I'm just telling you that could be someone that could make a nice bounce back. Oh, then I picked Xander, which again, so I guess Xander, Cantlay, and Cam. So that probably gives me some guys in the 10s and 9s. So again, I'm guessing Xander, he's been priced around in this kind of field like upper 9s. But you see, kind of game that I like here. He's also, of course, playing well right now at the Waste Management. And let's just go take a quick look. So, of course, he's got the distance. Been pretty accurate this week so far with that. Poe's his best putting surface. Of course, he's from California. You can see not the greatest showing at the Farmers, but did still gain with the putter. Let's see here. There's Farmers the previous year, where he gained 5 strokes on Poa. Of course, the Masters, tough greens. The Masters, Sanderson Farms, the Genesis. I think that's Harding Park, yeah. So yeah, Xander is my next guy in. Scrolling down, I like Gooch. He's having a pretty good showing. Shot 8 under on Friday. But this is the kind of course that I like to play Gooch. A bit like Sam Burns. Um, he had the win back at the RSM, which I said just did not fit my mind for him. But I had a T20 at the Farmers recently. We'll take one quick look at Gooch. He's got the pop off the bat. Pretty decent driving accuracy. Poa is his best putting surface. And if you look, the Farmers, he had a 3rd. The Houston Open, pretty tough tracks. The Genesis, Wells Fargo, Sanderson Farms. So, I mean, those are all big boy courses. You've got to be a good ball striker. It's the putter. If he gains with the putter, he could be very live. Scrolling down, DJs, I think he came up as the best tournament history. You can see that. I mean, so again, he might be an interesting play for you. What did he do? We just saw him at the Farmers. Yeah, the putter's what got him. Really good ball striking. That could be, I mean, yeah, I'd be curious. I mean, I'm curious where he's going to end up getting priced. I would guess it's got to be, top 3, top 4 pricing. But if he's like high 9s for some odd reason, I would definitely take a stab at him. I think the putter, to have that kind of ball striking for his first tournament out in a while, is very intriguing. It's funny, Emilio Agrino. I picked him for the Waste Management. I was a little nervous about it. He actually, I don't know, early Thursday was leading. I think it was 3 under out the bat, and but then he's kind of fallen back to the wayside. Mac Hughes, I always, for whatever reason in my brain, I always kind of picture Mac Hughes and Cam Smith very similar. Even though Cam Smith's a better player, I just kind of their skill sets is somewhat similar. Very good around the green, good putter. I mean, you see Poa, he gains on all putting surfaces. Maybe he doesn't hit the ball, but he's also a little wayward with the tee ball. You see around the green and putting. I guess that is the difference. Where he has, last 5 tournaments gaining a little bit on approach. You see when nuts at RSM, didn't have that at the Farmers so much. But yeah, if his irons are on, he could be very live here. And we can click on Mac Hughes. Let's do that real quick. The last best showing was talking about it. I think it was It's one of the majors that he showed up for a little bit. I just don't see it now. Oh, the Open. That was it. Anyways, Honda's tough track. Memorial, Houston, Valspar, Players. Yeah. But yeah, I like Mac. So I would guess he's got to be priced in the sevens, if not top sixes. I was kind of curious about Mito. You know, you can see he was putting lights out, but then, if I remember correctly, he missed a cut at the waste management. Yeah, and I picked him. So there you go. EVR could be interesting. Just around the green and putting is so wayward. But let me take a look here real quick. I didn't really give him a very long look. Yeah, he had this stint here. This is what I was thinking about with the putter. So when he went in Fuego at the FedEx Cup, where literally he made it in like by a point or something like that. So I think he did well. Like it was a Barracuda or something like that. Got in, or maybe he won. Either he won the Barracuda, he won something, or he literally just got into the FedEx playoffs and then went nuts. But you can see the putters kind of come back a little bit around the green. So hence, good ball striker, just usually very bad around the greens and putting. All right, where else we have? Substraka. I would guess he's in the sixes. So, just want to give you a guy in the sixes that I like. His game, he's got the distance. He gains on POA. And you see at a 16th at the Farmers. A couple of Houston Opens. Pretty tough. Farmers. So I would plug in him in. He would be kind of like my top value plays. Cage Lee, I would also guess, should be somewhere high sixes, very low sevens. You can see he's made the cut here every time. Good ball striker, just a putter. So I like Cage Lee. Coke Rack, which I would guess Coke Rack would be priced somewhere high sevens, maybe low eights. He's been putting, of course, really well for a while now. And he's made the cut here, just looking right here, 4 out of the 5 times. Does everything I'd want. Just trying to see. Last time we saw him was at the Sony. Let me just go click. So actually, like I said, I always thought it's funny. Well, POA is not his best putting surface. What I wanted to go look at. So, of course, he won the Houston Open recently, which was a little shocking. Pretty much play him in Texas is what I get out of this. Valspar, Genesis. That's a while back, but he had a second. Arnold Palmer, it's a big track, 7,400 yards. Valero, tough track. Sanderson. So he gets, I've also seen where he can get around smaller tracks pretty well. But yeah, his game should fit this course. So I like Kokrak. Patty Kazire, funny enough, I just bought the waste management. I think he's up there almost top 10. I was shocked. But he has done well here in the past at waste management. I'm sorry. I'm getting the two confused just because it's on right now. Or they're running it again. So my Brokeback pick, I did not pick him, and watch he'll end up doing pretty well. Matt McNeely, of course, Adam Scott, past winner, but not so much on him. Matt McNeely, find out if he's only played here once and made the cut. Of course, he didn't do that well at Pebble Beach. Typically puts well on POA. So he could be kind of depending where he's priced, I'd probably plug him in. I'm going to go back to Victor now. He was one of my top 5 picks. I think for everybody, I think he was 20% owned. And missed a cut. He hasn't missed a cut in I forgot what they said, but it's been we could take a look. I feel like it was like Valspar or something. It's been a while. Let's scroll. The Players. So almost a year since he's missed a cut. That was kind of shocking. And they're like, oh, he's tired all the trial, but he was back. He was back. He had a couple weeks, at least a week and a half at home. So I'm not buying that. He was not. His driver went wayward. I think he hit the first day 3 or 4 fairways, which is just not him, and his irons were not on. So yeah, I'm going back to him though. I think he'd be a little contrarian. He's had a T5 here last year. This course suits him. He'll get it figured out. I'm not worried about. Didn't even know Sergio was in the field. Like I said, I kind of put this. I think he's a good play. We haven't seen him in a while, but his ball striking is elite, and he's got a pretty good around the green. It's just whatever that putter does. So, pencil Sergio in too for kind of a value play. Paul Casey, this course should fit him well, even though he's made the cut every time, but hasn't really finished better than like a top 25. But we haven't seen Casey in a while. Corey Connors is not a bad play, but it's the putter. I actually picked Thomas Peters. So he just won over on the DP World Tour. You can see it's been a little bit since we've seen him. Had a pretty decent run when he came back over here for the Island Tour, we'll call it. He's had a T2 here before. Let's click on him real quick. I believe funny enough, the only thing he gains on is POA. I mean, that's probably a little tough because I don't know much. But yeah, you can see the Genesis, so that's probably where. This is all older stuff. I mean, the best showings he's had would have been Corrales. But he did just have a win. I'm just thinking he's going to be priced really cheap. I'm hoping he's in the sixes. And if he is, his game should fit here. A really good ball striker. It's just the putting and what around. You can see gain, 70% and 301 yards. What information we have with him, because of course he plays majority over the European Tour. Leishman, I think is a perfect fit. Again, his game, I always tell you guys, just like Cam Smith. So if the course fits Cam Smith, it fits Mark Leishman. You can see a T4, T43, a T32. And Leishman doing pretty well. I mean, he would probably be a good bet. I didn't do bets because we don't have odds. But I could see betting on Leishman depending on where his odds come in. And if we click on him real quick, funny enough, he actually over the last 12, he's gains on Bermuda, but not POA. His putter hasn't been a little bit like, well, you can see here. Yeah, he hasn't been gaining a whole lot with the putter where, back here, he was gaining like 7 strokes. Click on Leash real quick. Of course, he won Farmers. That's POA. Arnold Palmer. That's a big boy track. That's a while ago. Arnold Palmer. Likes Arnold Palmer. Might save him. The Farmers, of course, really good. POA. That's a while ago. There's the Genesis. He had a 4th. So I just think it fits him. Genesis. I'd be kind of a sneaky one and done. I don't think I picked him for a one and done, but I think he'd be a good play for a one and done. All right, let's see who else. Henrik Norlander, pure ball striker. Missed a cut here last time. I like him. I mean, you could also throw in where I just see when I scroll by. Johnny Vegas wouldn't be bad, but I think I'd rather go with Norlander. I like this Sahith Theegala. Of course, he's leading the tournament right now. I have a feeling he'll come back down to earth. He's supposed to be in this field, which I find interesting. Of course, if he win, but he's in the field somehow, even though he's sponsor invite for, of course, to get into the waste management. They're looking pretty smart right now. I actually am going to go with Bobby Mack. He's been doing okay over on the European Tour. He's never played here before. I haven't seen him in a whole lot, but everything I know about Bobby Mack, his game should fit here. He should be really cheap. I'm guessing like mid to low sixes. So we'll see where he comes in. If he's like in 7,000 range, I wouldn't play him. But if he's a 6,000 play, I think he could be kind of sneaky. You see gains on POA over a half a stroke. I didn't look at what he's been doing on the European Tour. I did see him over there. I think he's been doing okay. You see, at the Opens, he's done well. The Masters, he showed up. Arnold Palmer, just seeing what he's played over here, not a ton. But yeah, I mean, the guy's a solid player. So depending, like I said, where he's priced, if he's priced in the sixes, I'm going to play him. Wyndham Clark, I've been kind of on the Clark train. You see he's done well here. I think, probably again, last I checked, he gains almost went down maybe a hair. So maybe Pebble Beach knocked it down a little bit. Yeah. So there you go. Sitting there touting that, how well he's been doing with the putter and how much he gains on POA. And then he goes out and has a stinker because it was at almost a full stroke he was gaining when he putted on POA. So you see the Genesis. See where else. There's the Genesis again. Some Valero. Farmers. So again, he should be mid 6,000 range, I would guess. So he's kind of another 6,000 play. And Carlos Ortiz, good ball striker. Doing okay at the waste management. I think he was somewhere around the middle of the pack. You see he's done pretty well here. And he's a good ball striker. Again, it's just you never know what you're going to get with the putter. But you do see over the last 12 months, he's gained a half stroke on the field when he's putting on POA. Of course, his only wins at the Houston Open. And that one, I believe, yeah, it was Memorial Park. Par 70, that's Bermuda. Don't have yardage on there. But he's showed up at the Sanderson Farms, the Houston Open again. Sanderson Farms is funny. Play him at the Houston Open or Sanderson Farms. There's the Genesis Farmers. That's not the one I want, but I think is that. Yeah. So he had a good showing at the WGC Mexico at Chapultepec. So long story short, Carlos Ortiz, I would guess high sixes, low sevens. So I like him. Fitzmagic, it's done well here. He's having a pretty good showing as we speak at the Waste Management. Had that T6 at Pebble Beach. Started off rough, but actually showed up well. He's playing good golf, and his course should fit him. So I like Fitzpatrick. And Homa, of course, won here last year. I just, whenever it's POA and it's the West Coast, I'm going to play Max. And he's having a good showing too right now. I think he's like around a T10, somewhere around there. So I like Max, and I think that's it. I think that's my 20 guys. All right, let me summarize that for you real quick. All right, so Cam Smith, Luke List, Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Cantlay, Joaquin Niemann, Xander Schauffele, Gooch, Mackenzie Hughes, Seb Straka, Cage Lee, Kokrak, Victor, Thomas Peters, Mark Leishman, Norlander, Bobby Mack. Again, if he's in the 6,000 range, Clarkey, Ortiz, Fitzpatrick, and Homa. And I'm guessing, like I said, like Ortiz, Clark, Bobby Mack, Norlander, even maybe Peters should all be in the low, sixes, very low sevens. Same with Cage Lee and Straka. So, trying to give you guys like the top value guys I'd be going with. All right, let's get out of here and let's talk about one and done real fast. Okay, again, not the typical kind of presentations that I usually show you guys, but again, I'm just trying to put this together before I get on a plane very early tomorrow morning. And so who I'm looking at from a one and done, what you're seeing here is the last 5 tournaments held at the Riviera for the Genesis, who's gained the most strokes total, and also you can see where they placed. I mentioned DJ as number 1, so he could be interesting, from a one and done perspective. I like Patrick Cantlay from a one and done perspective here. I'm saving Xander. I think I want to use him maybe at the Masters. We got Max Homa, of course, past winner. He's had a T5, a T37, so he likes his course. He does well here. If you're not going to play, and I'm kind of, to be honest, I'm between Max and Cam Smith. I probably end up just putting Max Homa in because Cam Smith, I might want to use him at the Masters. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. But anyways, Cam Smith and then Taylor Gooch, I'm also looking at. You can see a T12, T10. I just think this course fits him. So I'm playing good golf. We'll see how, what shakes out tomorrow. But that's just some ideas what I'm thinking about from a one and done perspective. Of course, just to give you guys an idea. All right. With that said, that's it. Again, I apologize that the show is not up to the snuff that it usually is. I wasn't really going to do one, but once I saw that at least that Fantasy National had the field out, I wanted to put something together for you guys that have been with me, and hopefully that helps you. Again, as always, click that like button, share it with anybody else. If you are somehow catching this and you've never seen me before, again, this is not the level of show I typically put out, but I am going to be on vacation all next week, and check me out, check out the other shows, but subscribe. I think you'll see it is going to be worth it. Help your pocketbook out a little bit if you're on the DSF golf side. And if you're not following me on Twitter yet, check me out at DFS Golf Guru. All the best to us tomorrow at the Waste Management. I don't, from a betting perspective, I don't think I have anybody that I'm too excited about that I have a bet that I bet on previously. I'm kind of pulling for Scheffler. Might make a bet. I got a couple live bets that I did, but didn't pan out. I was trying to chase some long odds. But yeah, there's nobody off the top of my head that I bet pre-tournament. Maybe Bubba Watson I threw some money on. Doesn't matter. Hope you guys are doing well at the Waste Management. From a pick standpoint, I think I give myself like a B minus, C plus. The Hovland and Burns is what, really kind of burned me. It was kind of shocking to see those guys not make the cut. Anyways, you guys have a great week. And hey, have a great Super Bowl Sunday. And I'll talk to you guys, I believe. I'm not even sure what the tournament is after the Rib. I think it's the Honda, but maybe we start the Florida swing. I don't know. I haven't looked that far ahead. All right, guys. Take care. Talk to you later.